Hello guys, so today I'm just going to take you to the basic outline of Lightroom to show you how and what every slider and other things mean, and through my next series of videos I will show you specific things as such. So without further ado, let's dive in. So you go to Lightroom, you click on the Lightroom icon, and wait as it loads up. Then okay, so for the first time when you load up Lightroom, these files or photos will not be there, any of your photos. So you have to import them as such. This is not like Photoshop or any other software where you can just go like file open and open the file, or just like we control or go and stuff. So what you have to do here is go to file and click on import photos and videos. Then a dialog box opens up asking you to select a source. So on the left side, you can see your drives. So just go ahead and navigate to where your photos are. So mine's in F, new folder. So you see your photos lined up like this. And it will show the extension as well, NEF or RAW files, and JPG is there as well. So you checkbox whatever you want, and then you go import, and files will be imported. Okay, so now these are the files in your workspace right now. So currently you can work with these files, and this is also for like your library. So this has different modules here. There's library, there's develop, there's map, there's books, slideshow, print, and web. So mostly you'll be using just library and develop, and these are kind of like for organizing your files, which order you want them in, which order you want to edit. It's also available here in the bottom. So what you do is like you select a picture you want to edit. So let's just say we are going to pick this picture. Then now after you selected that, this is your develop module. You can just click on the develop module, and this is basically your workspace now. So there is this list of files which you can just go through. Like if you want to edit this, you can click here and you can change this one as well. Like you can just have as many photos as you want here. So or you can just click on previous imports and see your older collections and synced collections and such. So let's begin to editing. So we click on this file which we are planning to edit. If you press tab, all this is going to go. You can click here once more. So see, now this is just one clean, let us say, let's just say screen, so that you can see it as a big image, and you can do the editing as such. So press tab again and you will have your controls here. And so on the right side there are these dialog boxes. So what these dialog boxes actually do, so first is the temperature, next is the tint, exposure, highlights, and there are various other controls here. So I'll show you what each and everyone means, each and everything means. So for the temperature basically gives you the white balance as such. By that means, just say what I'll just tell you what happens when you change the slider. So this is basically expressed in Kelvin. So you move this to the left, your temp photos get a blue and blue tint. See, as you can see photos as I move more and more towards the left, it's turning more and more blue. And as you turn more and more towards the right, it's going more and more yellow. So it depends on which effect you want to use as such, and so you can use, depends on the photos, changes from photo to photo which effect you want to use. And next slider is the tint slider. Tint is, again, you can see the colors here highlighted. It's green, red, pink as such. So to set this back, white balance back, you just have to click here custom and go to as short. So this will be as your image was shot. So then this is the exposure slider. What it does is it increases the exposure. That is how bright your image is going to be. You can just see as I click on it and move it towards the right, see it's getting brighter and brighter. If I bring it to the left, it gets darker and darker. You can see you want to reset it. You can just double click on the exposure turn here. Same works for every other slider here. So I think this image could use a little bit of brightness. So just leave it at that. We'll just do a surface level editing as such. See, just this, and this is too much, I guess. This 0.24 will suffice. So then what happens is when you increase the exposure, the colors get washed out. Do remember that. Then this is the contrast slider. This shows you the contrast. There's less contrast. You get more contrast. Is basically how much difference is there between the other each and every other color. So there is this contrast. Let's give it this contrast and highlights. Highlights. Basically, what the thing you should know about highlights is you take highlights to the right, the image kind of brightens up and kind of details get lost. You bring it to the left, so you can see details are gained back. See, look at the mount. If you look at the mount in the back, you can see it's getting more and more clearer. I will show you later images where this can be really useful. So let's just put it towards the left. And shadows, basically the shadowy areas in your image. You move it to the right and the shadows disappear. It kind of does get brighter as well. You move to the left, the shadows, let's say, go darker. So I would like to like lessen the shadows here. Same thing with whites is how much whiteness is there in your whites. You can see I move the side to the left here. You see it's getting brighter and brighter. I move to the left. It's getting darker. Let's say dimmer rather than darker. So see, I'll just leave the white slider here. See, it's well and bright. Now the blacks. The blacks is basically how black your blacks are. That kind of sounds like a redundant sentence, but that's basically what it is. So I move it to the left. The blacks gets more black. To the right, the blacks, let's just say they get brighter. So but I usually prefer more black, so I just move to the left a little bit. So there, those are your blacks. Then next is the clarity. Clarity is what, let's just say, the detail, the amount of detail in your picture. So if you increase the clarity in, so you can see the picture is getting sharper and sharper. Move to the left, it gets more of a dreamy, ethereal look. So let's see, I think for in this image, since there is fog and stuff, just give it, move towards the left, say negative 12 or something. Then there's vibrance value. Vibrance is basically how much each color, how vibrant each color is. If I move to the right, see, you can see the colors pop such. This is basically too much. If I move to the left, it kind of goes like grayscale kind of thing. So I will just have this a little bit towards the right. Then there is saturation, which is basically the same. See, increases the colors. I move it down, it brings them down. So the difference between vibrance and saturation is vibrance, it just changes your midtones, which are not too bright, which are not too dark. Saturation, it just pumps up the colors in each and every pixel. So it's generally you just shouldn't mess with saturation. Vibrance will do the job for you. So I'll just leave this here. Then there's the tone curve. So in this curve, what you see here is the lower part of this curve are the dark areas, and these represent the light areas. So we can put multiple points on these curves. See, just here, then just move them around as you wish. So I'll tell you what happens when you move around each curve. So let's control. Oh, by the way, Control Z is undo, Control Y is redo. Lightroom records all your actions, so you can Control Z, Control Y as many times as you want. I'll just leave one point here. See, now these both the lights and the darks we can control. We have more control over them independently. So if I was to put a point here, then pull it down, the darks get darker. See, as you can see, if I take it up, the dark areas of the image get lighter. So I would prefer kind of like a little bit dark here. So just move here, the more darker areas, only the more darker areas are affected. If I move it here, means more brighter areas are affected, like comparatively brighter areas. So I'll just move this part kind of like here. Okay, now this seems decent. If I was to change any, select a point this side and see, you can see the bright areas. See the top side of the sky, they are getting whiter and whiter. Bring it down, they are getting lighter. So it's kind of like you can control the dark areas and light areas of your image separately. So I'll just, let's see which works. I think that this would work. This seems like a decent contrast to me. Okay, this works. And then I'll show you more tips and tricks in my later videos on how to do. Then these are the other channels. You have different colors: red, orange, yellow, green. And this is hue. Hue is basically, see, if you will see, there are no reds here, so this will work. Let's see. Let's see. There's yellow. A lot of yellow here. See, yellow. See, I move yellows to the left. See, they're getting this slight red peel. See, just follow my mouse. See, this side of the yellows, it's kind of like more reddish yellow. This side, it's more greenish yellow. So depends on which side you move to, the yellows in the image will turn into that color. See, it's getting red as such. You move it to the right, it's going green. You don't want to mess with this because this image looks kind of decent to me right now. Just put it like not also same thing with everything again with the greens. I move it here, this is like yellowish green, so here it's transitioning from yellow to green, so this side it's yellowish green. I move it to this, and this side it's next color is aqua, so it's green, greenish aqua, let's say. So you can see the greens getting affected in the middle of the grass and stuff. Let's just say let's just put some wine and this one sets up. Like, kind of like I really don't want to mess with this image right now because okay, let's make the green part slightly more yellow. Okay, so that the color is kind of uniform. Okay, same thing with here. The saturation gives you again, just as I explained, how bright or how bright, basically how bright the colors are. So I move the yellow saturation to the right. You can see how the yellows are popping up. This kind of looks bad after a certain level. I move it to the left, the yellows fade. So again, I don't want to mess with saturation much, so I'll just leave the yellows as it is. Same thing for each and every color. I just move it a tad bit to the right, the yellows. Okay, again with the greens, I'll just slide saturation. Yeah, yes, that suffice. Same thing with luminance. Luminance shows how bright each and every pixel is. You see, I have more the yellows. See, they get more and more bright, but they do kind of washed out, but they get more and more bright. Move to the left, they dim out. It's kind of basically like you just have to just put it, leave it there at zero. Ideally, you can just, so this is how you like control. These are these colors. Then next is split toning. Split toning is basically shows your highlights and your shadows. Your shadows is basically like basically what shadows are: dark areas, images, part of the images which are in shadows, and the highlights are like the really bright areas. In this picture, it would be say these areas where the magnifying glass is moving right now. If I want my highlights to be a particular color, I could actually move this. Different colors are shown in this highlights area. See, depending on where I put the slider, highlights are going to get that color. Since saturation is zero, it won't affect right now. So let me just show you by increasing the saturation. See, now you can see how these highlights are being affected. But it's usually at the initial stages, you really don't need to mess with saturation much. So let's just put it somewhere in the yellow part. Same thing with shadows. I'll show you how the shadows. I'll just keep this back to 0, 0. I'll show you how the shadows get affected. You can see the dark areas, the shadows are getting affected. Basically, since it's kind of a hue, it means the color of the image. That's how this is getting affected. So I'll just put it back because I really don't think we need to do anything in this image. Maybe we can just change the highlights a little. Let's see. Okay, that seems decent, but ideally, I don't think we do need to do anything here now. Then it's details. Details is basically the sharpness. Sharpness is basically same as clarity, but thing is, it corrects each and every pixel. So sharpness won't be visible in each and I mean the it won't be visible in the overall image. It will only be visible when you zoom in. Yeah, this is basically the zoomed in area, showing very much zoomed in area of the image. Let's see some part we can see like this. Okay, see, if I was to increase the sharpness, see, you can see it's getting sharper, but on the overall image there is not much effect, much or like no effect. But it happens only when you really zoom in. Again, these are different let's say aspect of sharpness, like how big you want the radius of the sharpness and the details to be. But basically, ideally, sharpness, just you just have to mess with sharpness. I'll go into the details of other sliders as we move along. This is sharpness. I think it's kind of a little bit more advanced level right now. So then there is lens correction, which is basically you basically would not have to use it much. Then the other slider which you will be using a lot is the effect slider. So here we have the cropping, post cropping vignette. Vignette basically, I'll just show you what I move the slider to the left. You can see the edges going black. See, so it kind of looks like now it kind of has this moody feel about it, right? See, I move to the right, the black that black edges just get white. This thing. So let's just say like I am going to move this towards the left a little. Okay, to get that moody thing, I think this would suffice. Okay, this would do. Again, midpoint and roundness is midpoint is basically where see you can see how like how much towards the midpoint the blackness should come. Just move to the right, see everything's gone. Move to the left, it's coming back. See, it's getting darker and darker from the sides towards, I mean, from the center towards the sides actually. So you can see the change actually. So I'll just restore it. Again, roundness, it gives how the edge of this dark to white post transitioning areas. See, these vignette areas, like how this will change. See, okay, see, I move to the right, I move to the left, move to the left, they open up, then I move to the right, they come back in, and this. But feathering is basically how much I just increase this thing for you to learn. Like, see, I'll see show feathering. See how much this. We move to the left. It's like sharp. The change is very sharp. You see, like this. But if I move the feather to the right, so you can see how smoothly this is transitioning. See, uh, again, same thing with the highlights. Dark areas will get brighter. If I move the highlights to the right, with the left, you get say, more dark. It kind of captures the detail back. So I'll just work. Let's see how much feathering do, how much of this midnight do we need. Okay, I think maybe let's just put it a little bit more. This would suffice. Okay, there are then again this is high priority. There's color priority, depends on the color. There's also paint overlay that kind of is more brighter, but ideally you should just use highlight priority to get that feel. Okay, it's kind of too dark right now. Okay, I guess this would suffice. Again, the green is like how let's see this won't affect as much because the grains depends on how grainy your image is going to be, but does not really affect your image. See, you can see like so. I really don't think you will have to mess with grains much, at least initially. Towards the later advanced part, I'll show to you. Now, this is dehaze. This is another slider which can come in real handy. Dehaze is basically it does what it says. It dehazes. I'll just move to the left. See, it's haze. It increases the haze. It's kind of like a bright hazy image right now. If you have an image like this, you could just come, just click on the dehaze slider and just move it down to remove the haze. See, I moved the dehaze. It's removing. Since I've moved it all the way, it's kind of like tried its best at getting it. See, it removed all these sprites, and now these mountains are visible. These clouds have this dramatic feel, but this is overdone. You really don't want that. That's basically, so I'll just restore it. This dehaze normal. So I just wanted a little bit of dehazing. Okay, let's see the detail. The mountain should be there. Okay, okay. See, now this is better. But what happened with the dehazing? See, the brightness in some parts of the image have been lost. See, it is dark, but I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this cloud area, so I'm just going to keep it like this. And now the thing is, I just need to brighten up the other areas. So what should I do? I will just go back. I need to brighten up certain areas. So what can I do to brighten up? I can try to increase the exposure a little. Oh my god, that's too much. No, I'll just press Control Z and undo. Just a little bit exposure. Okay. Maybe the whites and shadows are left. See, the whites actually work. Okay, but see, this is the problem with the haze here. See, it kind of that light is too much towards the light, so you really don't want the haze that much, even though it brings it out. So you actually can match it, highlighting sharpness to get the clouds out, and just put the haze slider back a little. I'll just do Control Z. It will take the haze back. No, I'll just keep on doing white, normal shadows, exposure to normal, and see. So this is where we were. See, this is a very good feature of Lightroom. It can do much. However, times Control Z, it's recorded in your history here on the left side. So there you go. Like, let me just get up like proper level dehaze. Okay. See, this way, it's like this has this appealing feel. It has this mountain in the back. From to the right, it's all hazed out image. So I'll just move it a little towards the right, and it has this hazy mountain at the back. It's slightly visible, and all the fog is as visible as well. So I guess that this would suffice. So this seems decent. And just change it. Okay, 12. Okay, now this is your image right now. Now let's go back. If you want to add, I usually like to add like a bluish tinge to my mountain snow shots. So I'll just move towards left a little. See the magic. Now it gives more coolness to the image. This is your temperature. That is the temperature is brought down. So if I move to right, it gives this yellow feel. But for the mountains and snow, I prefer a kind of like a bluish touch. Or not that blue. Let's do Control Z, Control Z. See, this is the temperature. No, sorry. This is the blue I was going for. Now you can see the value here. If you like forget something, you can note it down 4857 to get the exact numbers. See, it's too yellow right now. I'll just move to the left. I just move to the left. Blue. See, the value was 4857. Oh, now, and you have it. This looks like a pretty good image to me right now. I press tab. See how it opens up. You press Y, you get to compare your before and after side by side. Now just look how good this image looks right now from this to this. I guess that's it for the tutorial. No, we did forget something. You do want to learn how to export the image, right? You press Y again, you go back, you tab again, you get all the your tools and sliders. You go to file, you go to export. In the export, you can select where do you want to put your export. You can choose the folder where you want to export. I would, let's say I'll just put here like F, and let's just say I create a new folder by the name LR Tute. I'll just open the LR Tute. I'll select this folder. I have clicked rename to. I want to rename this file to whatever name I would like. So I would just say mountains underscore LR underscore Tute. And okay, yeah. So here you can give like what type of name you want to give. You can give the file name itself. I usually prefer custom name. I give this name and extensions in lowercase. There are other settings here like the file settings, what the format you want your image to be in, then the quality and the size. I'll just put in like 100 like I want maximum quality there. So then I click export. So here on the top you can see exporting one file. It takes a little moment, but during that time you can actually cycle through your other images and see if you want to edit any of those. It's exported and it's done. See if I'll just click here. Let's bring this panel up again. So I can just click on other images, see if I want to edit any of these. I can edit again from the tablet model straight itself, or I can go to the library and select. So I have this like in sometimes this all these images looks too small, so you can just actually come here and drag it up as big as this, so you can actually see how this looks. But then again, I prefer to be like really small here. It's like this big. Okay, done. So another thing you want to know about this is you have this all these things done. So you want these effects, like there's another photo of similar, let's say similar, kind of similar photo. So you want these same effects again. You might you and it would be really tedious to go through all these process again. So here's what you can do. Here are presets, like Lightroom has a lot of presets. You can either use those, or you can just save all these, like what you did, you can save it as a preset. So you can just click here, you can give a preset a name. So I'll just give it to underscore one. It goes under user presets folder, or create a new folder and make sure all this is ticked. By default everything will be ticked. You just don't have to do anything, you can just click create. So this is your preset. Now we go to another image, say this image. So that's not the same but kind of like same. So you can just click on this dude and it would apply all those effects here. But again, since this is a different photo, it won't work so well. There'll be lots of Lightroom presets you can use as well, black and white presets. See other presets. See, there are other presets you can use, but then again, this only works for like very similar photos, or like a very specific style of the photo you are going for. So more on that later. But that's it for now, folks. See ya and thank you. Please like and subscribe and follow my Instagram channel for amazing photos. Cheers. Thank you.